Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review and swatch video on the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I got this palette for Christmas from my boyfriend and I've only used it a few times, but I can already tell it's going to be one of my favorite palettes. It's so gorgeous for every day and there's tons of different pops of color in it as well, so you can create lots of fun looks. I just think it's such a great palette. So if you guys want to hear all about this guy and see swatches of all 18 shades, then just keep on watching. I know this palette isn't brand new or anything. They actually first launched it this summer, but it was so popular I didn't even have a chance of getting it. So when I heard that they were launching it again as part of a permanent collection, I was so excited. And I had no idea I was gonna get it this soon. I was out Christmas shopping with my boyfriend and I was like, the new palette, like, ah. And I went about looking, doing my thing, and my boyfriend actually like bought it behind my back for me and just handed it to me right there in the store. I was seriously so stoked. I hardly ever get palettes when they first come out again. I know it's not brand new or anything, but it did only relaunch on December 14th, so I got it like 10 days after it came back out, okay? So the very first thing I want to touch on is the packaging. I'm a huge sucker for packaging, and Too Faced always comes out with the cutest stuff, but I swear I've never seen such a cute palette. Like, it's so adorable. I love the whole ombre effect they have going on with the box and the actual palette itself. And then like most Too Faced palettes, it comes with a little how-to guide. I personally think it's really cool when they include these. They have like 3 different looks and how to achieve them. And then the other super cute thing is that this palette literally smells like peaches. Some people don't like it, but I think it's just a cute little added touch that Too Faced does. And it smells really good to me. So not only is it adorable, but it smells nice. It is the traditional Too Faced like metal packaging, just like the Too Faced chocolate bar. They are the same size and everything, and I think there's like a 1 gram difference in the weight. And this does have the magnetic closure like the chocolate bar. Actually, the first one I got, the one my boyfriend got for me, that was actually broken. It would like close on this side, but there would be a gap over here. The magnetic closure was just definitely broken, and I exchanged it no problem, but yeah. That was kind of a bummer. So now let's talk about the actual eyeshadows. In the new Sweet Peach palette, you get a total of 18 eyeshadows, and they're all the same size. With Too Faced other palettes like the chocolate bar and the bonbon and semi-sweet and all of that, you actually get 16 of these sized and then 2 bigger highlight shades, which is nice. I really liked that because, for example, this one, as you can see, I've almost used up, and it was like my favorite setting eyeshadow for a long time. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad they did it like this because you actually got 18 shades instead of 16. And then before I forget to say it, this is kind of like a random time to say it, but this Sweet Peach palette is $49, just like the chocolate bar and all of Too Faced palettes. They all run for $49. Back to the eyeshadows though, you do get 7 matte shades in this palette, which means that 11 of them have some kind of sheen, shimmer, glitter in them. I feel like that's a pretty good mix, but I wish they would have done a couple more matte shades. Maybe some of the peach shades in here could have been matte because 3 out of 4 of the pink or peach shades are shimmery or glittery. Now the claim of this palette is to have peachy pinks, corals, bronzes, and pops of purple, which is exactly what it is. Some people are upset that it didn't have more peachy shades, and I could agree to an extent. I think that they did a pretty nice mix, but honestly that was never really my opinion. Ever since I saw this palette, I was just like, ugh, that's gorgeous, give it to me. I never thought like, hey, a peach palette should have more peach in it. Like I told you guys in the beginning, I've only used this palette a few times. I've never tried any of the purple shades. I didn't try the green shade yet, so I don't have like a full review on those. Again, I've heard mixed reviews though. I do absolutely love the shade Luscious right here. It's probably my favorite shade. It is the shimmery shade I have all over my lid. Right before this video, I filmed a tutorial using this palette, so stay tuned for that. So I think that's all I have to say generally about these eyeshadows. I want to get into swatching each one, and I'll kind of give you guys my opinion on each individual eyeshadow. Alright, so I'm going to be swatching each shade 2 times. I actually forgot to on a couple, but most of them I did swatch a total of 2 times. First up is White Peach, which is a really pretty like vanilla cream highlight shade. Next up is Luscious, which is probably my favorite eyeshadow in this palette, and I would describe it as like a peachy, champagne-y, bronzy shade. It's absolutely stunning. The next shade is called Just Peachy, and it's such a gorgeous peachy pink color, and it has a really pretty gold shimmer in it as well. It just makes it such a beautiful shade. Now we have the beautiful green shade called Bless Her Heart. It's a really pretty mossy green color with, again, that gorgeous gold shimmer in it. I cannot wait to try this color out on the lids. Now we have the darkest shade in the palette called Tempting, and it's described as a bronzed black. I would completely agree with that statement. It's just a super dark bronzy brown that almost comes off black. Next up, we have the shade Charmed, I'm Sure, which is a really nice medium cool brown shade. It is matte, so it's perfect for the crease, and I love that they included this color. Now, I was having some difficulties getting all 18 shades on my arm, so I decided to break it up into the 3 different rows of the palette. But at the end, I went ahead and swatched them all again on my arm off camera, just so that you guys could see all of the 18 shades all together on my arm in one place. So moving on to the second row, our first shade is called Nectar. This is such a gorgeous shade, you guys. I absolutely cannot wait to incorporate this in a tutorial. It's so stunning. It's a really pretty shimmery, pearly highlight shade with the perfect amount of peach in it. It's just absolutely stunning. Again, I can't wait to try it out. Next up, we have Cobbler, which is such a unique shade to me. It's a really nice light bronzy shade, but it has peachy pink undertones to it. Now we have the shade Candied Peach, which I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm a little bit disappointed in this shade. I think the concept of the matte coral vibe they were going for is absolutely beautiful. I wish they would have just made this a matte coral shade, but they actually put some kind of purple glitter specks on it, and it made the formula not so great. It's not as pigmented of a color, and I personally would just use it a lot more if it were a matte shade. This next shade though, I absolutely love. It's called Bellini, and it's very similar to Just Peachy because they both have a really gorgeous gold sheen to them, but Bellini is more metallic and it has more of a peach undertone, where Just Peachy has more of a pink magenta kind of undertone. Next up, we have Peach Pit, which is probably my favorite of the more purpley shades. It's a lot more purple in the pan than when you actually swatch it, but I would describe it as a really nice, cool, undertoned bronzy shade. It still has that gorgeous shimmer to it, and it does have a nice purple undertone to it. It's just not as purple as it looks in the pan. Lastly, for the second row, we have the shade Delectable. It's a really nice, deep, matte, smoky purple. I think it would be perfect for purple smoky eyes. I do wish it was a little bit more pigmented, but all in all, it is a really pretty shade.
And love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah. No, I don't wanna waste what's left.
On to the third and final row of the palette. We first up have Peaches and Cream, which is a really, really beautiful transition shade. It's perfect for people like me who are super fair. I go in with this a lot for my first transition shade, and it's been working out beautifully. If you're any darker than me, it could be used just to set your whole lid, but yeah, I really love this shade. Secondly, we have the shade Georgia, which I love just as much as Peaches and Cream for a transition shade. It's a stunning matte peachy pink, and I either go in with both of these or just this one as my transition. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Next up, we have Caramelized, which is such a gorgeous, super pigmented bronzy shade. I would say it's got the most of a gold sheen out of all of the bronzy shades in this palette. So the next 2 shades are probably going to be my most used eyeshadows in the whole palette. The first one, Puree, is the most perfect, warm, caramel brown crease shade. And then the next one over, Summer Yum, is just perfection. It's such a gorgeous reddy brown eyeshadow. The website actually describes it as like a matte gingerbread eyeshadow, and I think that's just the perfect description. And lastly, we have one more purple shade. It's called Talk Derby to Me. The website describes it as a black violet, and I think that's exactly what it is. It's a super dark purple shade that almost comes off as black, and it's got a really nice purple glitter in it as well. Again, I've never tried these purple shades out. I have heard some mixed reviews, but I think most of the bad reviews I was hearing is that none of the purple shades are really purple. This one's super dark, almost black. There's a really bronzy purple, and then there's that one matte purple as well, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It just may not have been what Too Faced was really going for. So I'm excited to personally try out the purple shades and see what I think. And as promised, I went ahead and jumped off camera and swatched all 18 shades of my arm. It's kind of difficult doing it on camera, so that's why I didn't do it this way. But here you go. Here's all the 18 shades next to each other, all beautiful. So all in all, I am so beyond thrilled to have this palette. I think it's absolutely stunning. I think it's definitely worth the hype. It's got such a gorgeous range of colors. And so far, all the shades I've used are super buttery and smooth and pigmented. And yeah, I just couldn't be more happy with my new palette. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. My next video will be this makeup tutorial using the Sweet Peach palette. So if you wanna see that, make sure you subscribe down below. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye!